Chairs No Waiting, episode number 382. What keeps Mayberry alive? Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Summertime is on us. If you're listening to this live, even if you're not, you got to have a t-shirt. Great t-shirts over at weaversdepartmentstore.com, like the Circle of Trust t-shirt with Andy Griffith right there on the cover or on the front. It's a great looking shirt. If you don't like that one, you can get the Boys Club, Mayberry Boys Club t-shirt with Andy, Barney, Gomer, and Opie. Or you can get this computer protected by 5 mouse pad. All at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Hey, everybody. I'm Alan Newsom and your host for Two Chairs. And I want to thank our sponsors. I shouldn't say our sponsors, our patrons. There's folks that do a Patreon account for us, and they actually donate to each episode as it comes out. And I want to thank all of our patrons. And the executive producer of episode number 382 is Rebecca Spear. So thank you, Rebecca. And she is actually the inspiration for this episode, which is titled, What Keeps Mayberry Alive? So last week's episode, if you guys listened to it, was talking all about the Andy Griffith Show and Mayberry. And it got a lot of people talking. And I won't say that's what got Rebecca thinking about this, but she posted a absolutely wonderful message on the Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board chapter, which is our online chapter of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. She posted a great story. Well, it wasn't a story, a great post, I guess you'd say. Just it was a great message, and I wanted to read this. I got her permission, and I want to thank Rebecca for letting me do this. So let's play just a little bit of background music from the VW Boys. There we go. Isn't that nice? Thank you, VW Boys, for this at vwboys.com. Great group of guys. Love those guys. Tim White. Thank you all. All right, so let's head over here and see what Rebecca had to say, because I think you're going to like this. It's What Keeps Mayberry Alive is what Rebecca had written. She said, so you ask what keeps Mayberry alive to those of us born after the show's origination. As one of those people, I think I can offer an answer. It's not necessarily the characters, although Barney and Floyd are the epitome of brilliant comedy. Aunt Bee is a perfect example of a loving maternal figure. Little Opie provides the innocence of children everywhere, and Andy is, well, of course, the voice of reason. Throw in the other characters, and you've got every aspect of mankind represented. But the characters alone, they don't give the show life. It's not the witty writing either. However, the storylines found in this show are found nowhere else. A cow thief with shoes, raising birds whose mother you killed with a slingshot, and entertaining guests who, pass through with Southern hospitality, all combined to make magic on each episode. But it takes more than that. It's not the setting either. Candlestick phone, vintage cars, the gloves and hats worn by the ladies, homemade ice cream, sitting around the table for a meal, or on the front porch to visit and sing. They all tug at your heart and make you long for days of the past. But that's not the enduring nature of this show. What makes this show last for over 50 years and resonate with generations is the yearning that's inside us all to live in this magical place, Mayberry. Within each show, we see mankind at its best, lending a helping hand, like in the Cave Rescue. We see love for strangers, like in Man in a Hurry. We see encouragement, Barney and the Choir. We see a duty to set wrongs right, like in Opie's Ill-Gotten Gain. We see justice in Bailey's Bad Boy, for instance. We see putting others first in The Bed Jacket for Aunt Bee. We see belief in each other in Mr. McBeavy. We see helping friends down on his luck. That's Gomer the house guest. We see a simpler lifestyle, Sermon for Today. We see friends saving other friends from embarrassment, like in Floyd the Gay Deceiver. We see faith in our youth, Great Filling Station Robbery. We see a desire to make our friends happy, and A Wife for Andy. We see faith in mankind in The Christmas Story. We see respect and tolerance for others in The Family Visit. We see a genuine desire to help others in the Guitar Player episodes. Along the way, we're mesmerized by characters, the brilliant writing, the nostalgic setting. You see, somewhere down deep in all of our hearts is a craving to live in this enchanted town. In fact, the reality is, we Andy Griffith Show fans are all Ed Sawyers, trying to fit into the fast, hectic, evil, selfish world in which we truly do exist, but yet still believing that we hail from Mayberry, my hometown. Yes, I'd love to get a haircut by Floyd and talk to Sarah on that phone, and pull a silly antic on Barney. But more than that, I'd love to live in a world where I'm surrounded by the ideals and values and the genuine love shown in that little town in North Carolina in the 60s is known as Mayberry. Yes, Mayberry is my hometown. Isn't it yours too? That was by Rebecca Spears. Lydia in the chat room. So great job. Wow. Is that not so true? It was a great, well-written article that she did. And I'm so thankful for letting us just share it right here on the podcast. And it spurred a lot of back and forth after that. She had all kinds of things. People wrote in and said, Lydia, this is from Elizabeth in Georgia. She wrote and said, Lydia, that was as well-written piece of work as I've ever seen about Mayberry. It's up to us as the older generation who grew up in the 60s to keep it going. I felt I had raised my son right. When at about 12 years old, that's 20 years ago, we were running dialogue from the show one day, and he realized how many times he had seen the Andy Griffith Show with me. I'll sit and watch the show with my grandchildren to continue that tradition. My father is from a small town in North Carolina that I call my Mayberry. We sit on the front porch at the old house on Main Street and count cars. One day in October, I was sitting on the porch with my cousin, and all of a sudden a parade came down the street. It was homecoming at the high school where our parents went to school. It lasted about 15 minutes, and the last thing was the school bus following the kids to pick them up at the end. Is that Mayberry or what? That was from Elizabeth. Had others like Janet Anderson. She wrote in and said, what a wonderful analysis and tribute to our favorite show. I agree with everything you just said. Another one. I just picked some random examples. Here's another one from John. He goes by Sheriff Poindexter over on the Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board. He said, what an insightful and well-written post. You really got to the heart of what we all love about the Andy Griffith Show and Mayberry. Mayberry truly is the center of it all. I just want to add that all of us, in our mutual love for the Andy Griffith Show and all that the show and Mayberry stand for, go a long way towards keeping that Mayberry feeling alive in all of us. And hopefully we can instill a little bit of that into people we meet in our everyday lives. As Andy and Barney sing in the episode about salesman Burt Miller, spread a little sunshine every day. That's from John. He's Sheriff Poindexter. Folks, I think that's exactly what the Andy Griffith Show is about, isn't it? It's about all those things that she mentioned. It's about love for strangers and lending a helping hand, encouraging, setting wrongs right, seeing justice, for, people behaving badly or maybe just needing to quit, putting others first. Wow, isn't that so true? Belief in others, helping hands for people down on their lucks, simpler lifestyles, helping folks out from being embarrassed, having some faith in our young people. Wow, what a great story. Faith in mankind, respect and tolerance for others. That is what Mayberry is all about, isn't it? Rebecca, thank you for reminding us of all that, because that is pretty amazing. Now, folks, this is not going to be a long episode tonight, because I want you to listen to it again. So you can make this one twice as long by listening to it twice. But I really think what Rebecca said about the Andy Griffith Show and what keeps Mayberry alive, we all have to agree with. Because those are the things that I think keeps us coming back every week. Yeah, we love Andy. We love Barney. We love Goober and Gomer, Floyd, Otis. We love them all. Aunt Bee, Opie. I don't want to leave out anybody and hurt anybody's feelings. But it's really the town, isn't it? It's the entire atmosphere. I grew up in a small town too. I've talked about it before. Just like Elizabeth was talking about there in Georgia. I grew up in a small town where I knew everybody. The people I met at church, people at church, I saw them at school, and I saw them at the football games and the basketball games. I saw them all over town because it was a small town and folks cared about each other. So I encourage you, even if you live in a big town, find somewhere where you got that kind of a community. Even in a big town, you can find that. You can find it at your church. That's a good place to start. And I think you'll see that there's a lot of those same people still living, even in big towns. There's a lot of church ladies like Aunt Bee and Clara at just about any church you go to. They're good people. You just got to get to know them. So if you're old, go find some of the young people and get to know them. And if you're young, go find some of the old people and get to know them. And if you're in the middle, ask one of the young or old people whether you're young or old, because they'll probably tell you. Folks, it's a great thing to be a fan of the Andy Griffith Show, because you got a lot of people just like you out here. We all love the show. We enjoy spending time watching it, but there is something that makes it special to us. Go out there and share that with people and share it with us. I want to hear you guys calling in. I want you to call in here at 888-684-8415. Tell us what keeps Mayberry alive for you. Rebecca did an amazing job. But there's a lot of you out there that can do the same thing. So tell us your story. I love Elizabeth's story about sitting on the front porch and a parade came by. It's so much like Mayberry, the real world. Or is real world kind of like Mayberry? We just have to look for it. Maybe that's it. So tell me how you found a little Mayberry in your life. We'd love to hear that. So until next time, you guys have a great Mayberry week. And listen to this one again if it's not long enough. We'll see you next time.